Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Will Wonder Pod interviews. I have a very good friend of mine today, MC, battle rapper, put out one of my favorite, I don't even want to say local albums, one of my favorite albums in 2020. Yes, the pandemic. Recently put out a new EP. He brought back his battle platform, Mike Masters. But if we're going to be honest here, he has or is going to be releasing his biggest project yet. And this is with his girlfriend. So we'll get to that as well. But the biggest project of his life to this date. Mike, my friend, Nate Synchro Gabino Grhymes. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? How are you, dude? What a good intro, man. I was waiting to hear entrepreneur somewhere, but that doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't matter, dude.
Left that part out.
That doesn't matter, dude.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah. You know, that's funny. That word was such a shitty word to try to spell as a kid.
Oh, the
like
worst.
In, like 5th grade, 6th grade, because that was like the word that you hoped you didn't get in spelling bees. You're like entrepreneur. Oh, God. Dude.
All right. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, dumbass. Get off the stage.
Yeah. I'll go to lunch.
Yeah. Forgot podcaster as well. Like, there's just too much of what you do for me to mention at the beginning.
Yeah. I do a lot, and my girlfriend hates it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay.
I want to do this before we get into you.
Pause.
I was waiting for it. Before we get into your story, rather.
Sure.
Every week on the Will Wonder Pod, we celebrate hip hop, right? Hip hop is turning 50 years old August 11th. So if you could.
Sedgwick Avenue.
Yep. If you could, give me an idea. What does hip hop mean to you?
What does hip hop mean to me? Freedom. It means next level creativity. I feel very open and honest in hip hop, and I know that other genres have that same trajectory. What does hip hop mean to me? Hip hop means community, man. Hip hop means self-expression. Hip hop means cool. Hip hop means progression, and hip hop means everything.
I love that.
Yeah.
Obviously, hip hop has played an enormous role in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would be understating to say it's not an enormous role. Right?
Yeah.
So let's start from the jump, man. You're no. Brothers and sisters, you have one older sister, correct?
You got
it. A younger brother and a younger sister.
Mm-hmm.
Were you born, I know because we both, in a sense, represent Magna, but is that where you're born, Magna, Utah, or where are you
West
born?
Valley.
West Valley,
Yep.
Okay.
I was born in West Valley.
Okay. Growing up, how did you find hip-hop? Like, because kids generally, they have an older brother, there's kids at school that put them onto it.
Yeah. For me, it was through my sister and my cousin Shalong. They both were listening. They listened to hip hop like all the fucking time, and being a tiny kid, one of my most vivid memories when I was 6 years old, and listening to like Ice Cube, 91. This would be 91. NWA. And then I didn't really understand, like, really know what the fuck it was, really, like, because my dad played like the Beatles, Santana, my mom loved Elvis and Fleetwood Mac. So that's like the playlist that would be during Saturday cleanup sessions.
Yeah.
Generally, and then in my sister's room would be bumping fucking a whole other,
Yeah.
And so I was just like, it just sounded different. And that's when it was, I would say that like what my introduction was through my sister. Yeah.
So you go from like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds to No Vaseline.
Yeah. That was, which seemed more seamless than you.
Than just saying
it was way easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny too is when did Regulators come out? Was that 93?
90, I think it was 93, yes.
Okay. Well, when that song came out, I had some Cobra trucker walkie-talkies that my dad got, that my dad had, and he would let us play with them. And they had fucking pretty good range. And so my this might be actually like the first time that I like rapped or something. But we had a neighbor kid. God, for fuck's sakes, I don't even remember his first name. But he was a foster kid, and that doesn't mean shit. But
I was gonna say, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
By the way, he was a foster kid,
and he was a foster fucking. No, and we would play at night. We would play Regulators, and I would rap it. Yeah, and we would like walkie-talkie rap it.
Okay.
To each other. So like I would say, hey, play the beat, and then so I would hear it through the walkie-talkie speaker because he would play it at his house.
Okay.
And then I would rap it. Like it was just really fun, man. I just remember doing that so much. Yeah.
Would you sing the Nate Dogg part? Would you be like, got a car full of girls and it's going real swell?
No, I mean not good. Yeah, no, I was more so doing the
Warren G.
Yeah, the Warren G.
All right, no, that's fine. So outside of, we're going to talk a lot about hip hop. There's going to be a ton of hip hop talk in this. But as a kid, man, what did you like to do? Like play sports? Were you into video games? What was childhood like for you?
Yeah, what was childhood like? Childhood was very into, I was outside a lot. And so kickball, basketball, street hockey, football, playing football on my dad's lawn, and like breaking fucking sprinklers. That was all the time, dude.
Yeah.
Like it was all the time. And he would, now that I'm older, I'm like, damn, dude, you fuck shit up. I would be like, I don't know, like just fix it, and
Dad, broke.
Yeah. And then we would play with like figurines, like X-Men was huge. I would wake up in the morning. Saturday mornings was dope. X-Men was my jam. So Saturday morning cartoons. I also like would go to the library a lot. I still love reading, and I would go to the library a lot, get lost over there for like 3 hours. The internet was cool, like around 95. I was like 10, 11, 95, 96, and I would go to the Magna library and print off of NBA.com pictures in black and white.
Yeah.
And cut them and put them all over my wall, like Anthony
that's
Hardaway and Nick Anderson and Donald Royal, Scott, like the whole team,
Yeah.
And but I loved being at the library. Like it was so fun. Like I would just read books all the time. Another big part of my childhood was riding bikes. We didn't have a lot really going on, like in Magna, I guess. Like, in my neighborhood, we would wrestle. Actually, fuck that. We rest in peace, Jeff Archerbeck. We would wrestle on his trampoline, and we used when WWF at the time finally came out with CDs of intro music.
Oh yeah,
dude, it was on at that point, bro. We fucking would have intro music. My favorite was Bret Hart.
Oh
yeah, he's still my favorite. Just so much my favorite than 97 when the Montreal
screw job happened.
But when I cried, I was 12. I was so pissed off because my brother loved Shawn Michaels. And he fucking loved him. And I was like, dude, this is such bullshit. So wrestling was huge actually for me growing up.
Okay.
Like it was way big for me growing up. Even after my mom told us that it was fake, which was such a big moment for us.
Wow.
Yeah, because she was. Yeah, I mean, she thought I don't know.
She thought you knew, probably.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, like we were watching $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase against, I don't remember who it was, but he like hit someone with his briefcase, and he started bleeding. And she was like, "Kid, you guys know that like this isn't real, right?" And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, man?" Yeah, ma. But yeah, so wrestling, a lot of sports, outside often, biking, that stuff, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
normal 90s kids stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Real quick on the Montreal screw job, because I am a huge wrestling fan, as people who watch this know. We won't spend too much time on wrestling because I get feedback that some people don't love it.
Okay.
But I do. You think it's real? The screw job was a real thing, or you think it's the best work in the history of wrestling?
I think it was real.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was.
We can
real.
have a whole nother wrestling episode.
Okay.
But to me, I think it's the biggest work ever, and Brett will take it to the grave.
And they and you think that all these documentaries, like they're just like, oh, dude, we just pull content.
Isn't it
from
just convenient that they were filming Walking with Shadows or whatever the Bret Hart documentary was when that happened? Isn't that convenient?
I have not thought about that. Isn't that fucking convenient, dude? You know what? We'll have that fucking podcast right now. No, I'm just joking.
We're not even going to talk about his life.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah.
No, that's interesting. I don't.
Okay.
But I
mean,
think
we can save that for another time. I
Okay.
just want to put
All
that
right.
out there because that's
Bret Hart was my favorite though, for
Okay.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
the sharpshooter, that was shit.
cold move.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward a bit to like high school times, right? You don't go to school in Magna. You don't go to Cypress High School. You end up going to a Catholic school, Judge Memorial. Was that your choice? Was that your parents? Why go to that school? Not just the school that you would go to living in Magna Utah.
Mm-hmm. Great question. Whose choice? It was my choice from a young kid. I grew up Catholic. Went to Jesus. Excuse me. Went to. I'm sorry about that. I went to Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Church. Grew up in the church as an altar boy and Eucharistic minister, lector, and very embedded within the church and that community. And going to Judge was like the first part of just going to Notre Dame next, So like that was really big for me. And when I understood mid-teens, I don't know, like 13 or something like that, because like it starts in 9th grade. So I was like 14, right? Something, no, 16, 15. Anyway, when I found out more how much it was going to cost through my dad, I mean, he didn't tell me the whole story, but like we ended up talking to the priest there, and I was the first person to get a scholarship to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they paid for a lot of it. My church did. Yeah. And all 4 years. My dad paid a portion, but I am indebted for sure to them for that. So it was my choice. It was my choice, and it was the right choice. I think I had I mean, I'm not going to mince words about it, just a more advanced process when it came to just a scholastic piece of what that means, during that time frame. And I was very grateful for having the opportunity to do that. There was like a piece at the beginning, though, like the first 3 months of school, that it was difficult to make that move from public school to private school. I liken it to like being in sports, more notably like baseball. Like if you start, it's really like any sport, but like if you prefer to start small, like in a parochial system, because all those kids generally stay in that parochial system. So when I obviously had no friends, and this is probably this is definitely true. Like going from a public school to another public school where you don't know any friends, but like in a public school setting, I did that. I went from one junior high to another, and I was able to still kick up friendships pretty quick. I'm pretty personable anyway, so like I've always been able to do that. And for some reason, man, it was just very. I was intimidated. We were pulling up in our 19. This is zero disrespect to my dad's hard work. Like zero disrespect, but like we were pulling up in our 95 Ford Escort, and I thought at the time, you know, that was like our best car. Damn, this actually like is deep to actually talk about. We were pulling up in our 95 Ford Escort and like to see like Escalades and shit. And like, it was like, damn, dude, like I feel like we made it, you know, but all these guys are, you know, like that idea of like money and shit, like it can be very intimidating.
Oh,
you know?
I'm sure. Yeah.
And so feeling like I wasn't on their level when I totally was, you know, of course I was. And so that was difficult to overcome. That was a hill for me to climb. And I was very discouraged, you know, I was still getting good grades and shit and that was fine. But I wasn't fine. I was trying to find my place.
How did you overcome that?
Ian
fear?
Wolfley. I'll shout him out.
Shout out Ian.
I was at the corner table during lunch, back corner table, bro, sitting by myself, and damn, dude, this actually is wild. And I was just by myself, and it was sucked, like, cause I'm a social butterfly, and I could just feel that flame, like, just like, goddamn, just like on life support.
Mm-hmm.
And he came over and he's like, "Hey, man, I know that you don't know many people over here. My name's Ian." I was like, we're in English and drama. And I was like, "Yeah, no, I know you, man. How are you?" And he was like, "Come over here and sit with us." And that from that moment on, like, I was able to let my character out and let people, like, once I got the first laugh from someone, I was like, "Oh, okay, now I got you guys."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
We're going to be able to be friends. And like, that was a really big moment. I remember going home that day and feeling liberated and like, okay, cool. Now I'm like in school, you know?
Yeah.
And that went to like, I mean, my senior year, I mean, dude, so many things, but from being the kid in the corner to being the kid that's like, bringing a boombox when you're not supposed to and shit, you know, like just completely showing my character, you know. So yeah, big shout out to Ian, man. He knows that too. He probably doesn't remember right now, but yeah.
So you graduate from Judge.
Mm-hmm.
What's after that?
Can we go back to the Judge really quick?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So the reason why Judge was such a big deal in addition to why it was a big deal outside of the scholarship and the difference that my dad, or like the adjustments that my dad was going to have to make, because, you know, I'm going to school in Salt Lake as opposed to fucking down the street, you know? And for myself even, because I'd have to get up early and shit. I almost didn't get in. So, well, I didn't know that I was going to get in. So I took the entry exam in the summer going into 9th grade year. So 8th to 9th grade year, took it, and we didn't hear back. Mm-hmm. And so I started my 9th grade year at Brockbank. Yeah, so first day of my 9th grade year, I started at Brockbank in 99. And at lunch, and I was cool with it. I was like, yeah. But I also wasn't cool with it. I was like, fuck. I mean, just because that didn't happen, you know? Right. It wasn't because of Brockbank. I was there with all my homies. So it was all good. Totally fine. But I was like, God, man, that sucks, you know? Because like it was right there. And I know I didn't fail, you know? I feel like I didn't fail. Shit. And my dad, so lunchtime came around and there was a call over the intercom and called for me to come to the office, and I was like, the fuck, dude? Like, I didn't even do anything yet.
Did they see me kick over those trash cans?
Yeah, dude. Well, the last time that I was at Brockbank was my 7th grade year, and where I averaged a 2.0, dog. This is after having straight A's in fucking elementary school, dude. Like, wow. 2 point, because that's when I first started drinking.
In 7th grade.
Smoking. Yeah, dude. It was so bad. It
Jesus
was, yeah,
Christ.
Dude, little 12, 13-year-old. It was so fucking wild.
A little badass.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. That was,
no, I mean like a badass kid. Not like, oh, you're a badass.
you were a shitty kid. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so the last time that my memory was there was like ditching class and going to smoke weed, or like, just leaving for half the day and just fucking being gone. So anyway, I get the call, and I go into the office, and my dad's like sobbing. And and
Jesus.
I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And all he said was, we made it. And like everyone in there was crying, and I just started crying. Like, it
Wow.
even still makes me feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very powerful moment, because I was like, what do you mean we made it? I'm
Yeah.
even cracking up just thinking about it. But what do you mean we made it? He's like, you made it into judge. And then the next day is when I started at judge. So it was a big accomplishment for him. So I'd like to know how proud he was.
Yeah.
That's part of that too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah.
No, I mean, it is. I mean, because like you said, not everyone gets in there, especially if you don't have the funds to go to that school, right?
Yep.
So you get your education there, you graduate. I'm assuming with better than a 2.0 average.
Yeah, dude, for sure. I think it was like a 3.4.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. What happens after? Because you said the first step to going to Notre Dame, or one of the steps is going to judge.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens after you graduate?
Well, leading up to graduation, I was applying at colleges, and applied at the U. I actually applied at the University of Miami, just because.
Yeah.
But the goal was to go to the Air Force Academy.
Okay.
So that was like where I put all of my energy. Like, I letter from from Orrin Hatch, was it? Yeah. Like I did everything I was supposed to, but like I didn't get in. Like my ACT score, I don't remember what it was. But
okay.
It wasn't enough.
What was, if you don't mind me asking, what was why did you want to go into the Air Force Academy?
To be a pilot. I wanted
okay.
or just to be in the Air Force as an officer. Like
Got it.
was like the big thing that I really wanted to do. I absolutely wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought that maybe I would have some cracks at even just getting on the practice squad for their football team, because I was playing football pretty hard at that time.
What positions you play?
Running back, strong safety, and corner.
Okay.
Yeah, and wide receiver. But it was like I was smaller or shorter, so I played running back more often.
Okay.
Excuse me, I actually played wide receiver more often, but like I found a niche I found a place playing running back my senior year. Anyway, so I didn't get in there, and I was like, I still want to go into the military, and this is because of 9/11, man.
Wow.
I remember being so really quick before I go to this story about 9/11, I went to the Air Force. So I enlisted. But that was because of like 9/11. I was in the library at Judge, and I remember looking over. I was on the internet, and I looked over, and there were like 3 people in the office, like surrounded around the TV that was still on that. Where when they would fucking cart around TVs on top.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
I don't even know.
And it was like roped, strapped on.
Yeah, I had this strap, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, and that was just a big deal, like, because there were so many at that school at Judge. There's very diverse, so there are a lot of families that have family members all over the place. You
right.
know? It's not like a secular culture for Judge Memorial. Like, it's not just like downtown Salt Lake City kids. It's like fucking kids from all over.
All over.
Anyway, yeah. So 9/11 really affected what that decision was to get to the military.
Got it. So what your step going into the military? What?
I almost didn't even get in.
Why?
Because I had sticky fingers. Because that's why, dude. Because I had sticky fucking fingers, dude. So back to Jeff. He worked at Kmart on 56.
I remember.
Damn, dude, he would work the self checkouts when they were new. Bro, we were
oh no
popping out all sorts of shit. And I had stolen a pair of headphones that I didn't need. And they caught me on the bubble mirror.
Oh.
Yeah, like in the corner. And dude, for real, like I'm like 2 weeks away from going in. I'm like 2 weeks away from going in, dude. And
Oh my God.
yeah, and my text up my I had to tell my recruiter about it, and he's like, "Don't worry about it. We'll get it worked out." And I honestly don't know what he did or what happened or if they just didn't report it. But I was confident that I was not gonna go. Like they were just gonna tell me like at MEPS, military entry processing station that. But he was like, "You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good." And then I smoked weed.
You're a badass, huh?
Dude, I was all over the place, man.
Didn't end from fucking 7th grade.
Dude, no, it didn't. I smoked weed. Was it a week before or something?
Okay.
And so I knew that they were going to piss test us, and I was like freaking out. And I had such long hair at that time. So I was like, are they going to fucking do a hair test too, dude? Because I am fucked. I got too much hair on top of my head right now. Anyway, so we took the piss test on like this third day inside of in basic training, and you know, the grace of God.
Wow.
I didn't test posy. Huh? Yeah, I didn't test posy. Yeah. It's probably all the stress.
Yeah.
Probably got it. And also I was drinking a ton of water.
Yeah. All right.
Just in those 3 days alone, just the first days of fucking basic, that was a nightmare.
So this wasn't Air Force, correct? This was
the Air Force. Yeah.
It was the Air Force. Yeah. Okay. So you go to basic training. Where are you for that? I know there's a lot of like
San Antonio.
San Antonio. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Lackland.
My dad was there as well. Another good friend of mine was in basic down there after that. So after basic training, actually, let me ask this.
Sure.
So you as a a kid that in a sense did a lot of what he wanted to do, right? Trying to steal shit from Kmart.
Yeah.
Smoke. You know what I mean? Just being a rambunctious you, right?
Dude, I had so much going on.
What was it like to go into the Air Force? Because it's like things change.
The shit. It was dope as fuck, man.
Okay. Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, it was.
I thought you said the shits.
No, it was the shit. It was sick as hell. I appreciated all the structure. It reminded me of like before my mom and dad got divorced, like the structure that my dad had. It was sick. It sucked for like the first week because I was feeling out the method of teaching that drill instructors do with berating, you know, and belittling. And so that sucked at first. Like, yeah. I mean, to have your ego like completely stripped, you know.
By the way, hopefully you can't hear the people in the next room. I don't. There's a
lot going on.
Bret Hart may be over there.
Yeah, I heard someone get slapped.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. Anyways,
when I actually started feeling comfortable there was, I was doing chow runner duties, and what that meant was I would go. I had the duty to the job to bring my whole flight down to eat, and so I would be the first down, and which always meant that I would be there watching everyone eat for like an hour before they were like, okay, it's your flight's turn. So it was like a matter of like getting that like racing and like beating other people. So there were other chow runners for other flights, and because they couldn't like let everyone in at the same time. Anyway, that was for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So in the morning, like watching people eat breakfast and being like, damn, dude, I am so hungry. And then lunch being like, damn, dude, I am more hungry. And then dinner being like, I am tired and hungry. Yeah. There was one after dinner one night, and this had to be like a little under 2 weeks in, roughly ish. And I was so tired, man. I was so tired. I just ate and came out of the chow hall, and I forgot to put my cover on. covers your hat. So whenever you're outside, you have your hat on. I forgot to put it on. I was so tired. And this tech sergeant sees me from, I don't know, it felt like a mile away, you know? Like they're all around. It's like Mission Impossible lasers, you know? It's just like you can't fucking miss them. You can't dodge him, you know? And he beelines towards me, and I see him, and everything shrinks up, you know? And I'm just like, dude, this just right now, please, God, you know?
Yeah.
And he starts laying in, and it was like a disconnecting moment for me because I was like, oh, shit. Like, oh, it is just a hat, you know? And I was like, I am fine.
Yeah.
Like, this is fine. Okay, I cracked the code. All right. Nah.
Wow. Yeah.
So, like, in that moment, for real, like, the whole experience changed into, oh, I just won't get yelled at. Like, I'll just do the thing. And then also, if I do get yelled at, it doesn't matter. Like, there's an underlying message, you know?
Got it. Yeah.
And so, from then on, I turned into... I mean, the child runner was a pretty big deal, but then I went and became the guide on, so I held the flag. I became like right in front of the whole pack, or for a flight rather, and it just transcended like my whole confidence and comfortability. Almost felt like that same time that I was talking about like a judge when I was like, oh, I found my place, and now I can excel, you know, and maximize what my talents are. But it was so funny. It was so funny in my head. He's like yelling at me, and I was just like, dude, it is a hat, though, right? It is just a hat.
Like yeah. Okay. I get it.
Yeah. And I just took it out. I was like, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'm tired.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go make my bed and then unmake it to lay down, dude.
After basic, where are you stationed?
In Wichita Falls, Texas.
Oh, okay.
At Shepherd Air Force Base.
Were you there your whole time?
No, I was there for 9 months.
Okay.
Tech school, yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
From there, where do you go?
To Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay. What is it like seeing these other places outside of Utah? Especially, I mean, Arkansas, you go into the south, it's different. Maybe not so much on the base. Did you have time away from the base while you were there, or did you mostly stay to the base?
Dude, you know I did, bro.
That's why, yeah, it's a very leading question.
Yeah, you know I did. We weren't supposed to, but in Wichita Falls, yeah, we went out to what was it? Grams is what it was called. It was Grams. It was I got my first day in tech school, dude. The universe was looking out for your boys. I was cleaning my bed. Or just getting it put together because I just literally walked in and I was like, okay, cool. Let me get fucking familiarized. Bro, tell me I found a fucking fake ID.
Wow.
Or no, an ID.
Okay.
It wasn't fake. An ID of someone. It had to be the guy that was in there before. Rigoberto Lemus from New Jersey. So it was in New Jersey. I was like, dude, done. Now I'm 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was still 19. I was like, yeah, I'm 22 now, dude. And so I would use that to get into Grams, even though they had it under 18 or
what
under 21.
Kind of establishment is Grams?
It was a club.
Just a club.
Yeah, just a club.
Okay.
It was definitely a club though, like a lot of dancing and shit like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never. You looked much like Rigoberto?
I mean, it wasn't that close. It was kind of close. I don't know, dude.
You're like, he looked like Danny Trejo, but they never questioned.
Dude, I rocked that hard. Wow. I got caught at the Westerner.
Okay.
When I came back home, I got caught at the Westerner with it, and they took it, and I was like, "This is bullshit."
I am Rigoberto.
Yeah, no, I had to talk in. Do you want that story? That is fucking wild. We can come back to that story, but that is, yeah.
Oh, okay,
so I would go off base a lot. Also, stay on base a lot. There was this guy that we met. What's his name? He was Warren. No, it wasn't Warren. My boy Josh Butterworth and I. Shout out my boy Josh. I just saw him a little under a year ago out in Rhode Island. Man, we hadn't seen each other in like 15 plus years. So cool to see him, man. It was so dope. Anyway, we hooked up. We connected with this army. Was he a ranger, dude? But he was a vet, and he definitely was in the war, in Afghanistan. And
Jesus.
we would go over to his house, and we would get drunk with him, and he would tell us wild fucking stories about Iraq, and like he God damn it, dude! I swear to God, he showed us like a gun that still had blood on it and shit. Like, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, he's from this fucking." And I was like, "Damn, bro, you are wild." Bro.
Yeah.
And yeah. So anyway, so we would party with him. We almost got. I mean, fuck, dude, I got stories for days with just hanging out with that guy, man. That was a wild time, dude. That was a wild time. And then, but like on base, I was on base a lot more than I was off base, for sure. Yeah. For sure. And that was like super fun because then we moved from one barracks to another. Man, I got in trouble playing. Josh and I left school early and thought that they wouldn't notice on a Friday. And,
Jesus Christ.
Dude, and at the end on Fridays they do a roll call, and so everyone's there, and we were like, dude, they're not even gonna fucking notice. And we were in his room playing Tiger Woods 04, I think, and killing it, bro. And dude, the door flies open. And one of the master sergeants is like, and I'm still playing. You know how you had to pull the stick back?
Yeah.
And if you went like this, if like you could get more power.
Yeah.
And you tap, and I was doing that. When he opened the door, I was like, "Oh shit!" Still going, still tapping, and I still moved my
putting for eagle,
dude. I still swung, and I was all looking over. I was like, "Oh shit," you know. And we got in trouble. We were made an example in the day room at the front because after that anyway. So that was that's just another story. I have stories for days about that experience.
Christ. How did you make it through?
How did I make it through? Dude, I don't know, man. By the skin of my teeth.
Yeah. Did you serve 4 years or did you go longer?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, it was very structured for you in those 2 years, even though you found ways to do your thing, right? Coming home after 2 years, what was your plan?
It was a bittersweet time. I got an early out. They were offering early outs, but also I did get in trouble. Like I did get in trouble for stealing gas. Dude, I was stealing gas. Yeah. That was a wild time. But they were offering early outs.
Hold on, but stealing gas for what? Your car?
My car, yeah. I had a fucking a Mazda 626.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Yeah, I was stealing gas, dude, and I was doing it all the time.
This is like 03?
Yeah, you could just
$1.70 a gallon at most.
74 cents maybe.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
I definitely had the money for it. I just wasn't doing.
Deviant ways. All right, go ahead.
That's just another story, dude, of how I got caught. That was so funny. And awful, but. Anyway, but they were still offering early outs. They were offering early outs for like 15 years. You can get out and get like half your retirement.
Mm-hmm.
For me, they're like, yeah, you can get out and still have a general under honorable conditions.
Okay,
it'll be fine. And I was like, okay, I'll take it. I definitely wasn't going to get a dishonorable like at all. I mean, I wasn't even close to it, you know. But like, I was like, I'm done. I'm good. I'm out of here. Like, I feel like I'm just over it. And also my mom was like in bad shape. So there was a lot of different things that really
led to you coming home.
Yeah, led to it coming home. And the plan was just to work at Hill as an aircraft mechanic.
Oh, okay.
And because of that early out, it wasn't just happening at Little Rock. It was happening everywhere. And so getting a job there was impossible for me because of seniority and experience. Like I had a 1.5 years experience working on planes as opposed to an 8-year senior airman or 8-year staff sergeant. You know, like it was, it was just difficult. So from there, I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna switch my whole field up, and so I went to the post office and worked there. And that, I don't know whoever's worked at the post office before, but that shit blows. it sucks.
Like delivering mail or like keying mail or
now like a handler.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was just it was just a lot. But the plan, to go back to your question, like what was the plan? I didn't really have one except for I was like I'm going to work at Hill, and then didn't really have a plan B.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, you're like 20, 21 at the time?
About 20, yep.
20
turning 21.
Okay.
About to turn 21.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
So you come home,
rapping.
Yeah, that's what I wanted, because you started rapping
before
in the
I
Air
left.
Force?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to that, because I want to know how it started, and then we're going to kind of go through a timeline of different rap events, as you will. But how did it all start? Like, what got you into rapping in the Air Force?
I got into rapping from an experience with listening to a fellow dorm mate's song on the radio on like a crunker junk.
Oh, okay.
And my boy Aaron and I were watching NBA playoffs.
Mhm.
We're watching the NBA playoffs, and I just remember it was the Houston Rockets against someone. But he came in, he knocked on our door and let us know that he was going to be having a song played. And we were like, cool, we'll tap in. By this time, though, dude, like I definitely did not think about rapping. I just was super big into like the culture,
Right.
like just embedded into the culture. And outside of like beatboxing, I didn't ever write. I didn't freestyling wasn't a thing, that didn't click yet. So anyway, I was the song came on and almost didn't even listen to it, to be honest with you, because of the radio almost fucking went out.
Oh, wow.
I forgot about that. Almost didn't even hear it. Anyway,
The radio was stolen, by the way, just to throw that.
just to make sure you
That's why
guys, it was a $600 radio, dude. Of course it was. No, dude, so much. Okay, so we're listening to the song and like just right, honestly, like 30 seconds in, I was just like, damn, dude, I could do this.
Yeah.
I could do this. So the song finishes playing. We call in, do our due diligence, and say, crunk that
whatever,
shit. Yeah, for sure. Because he was the homie for sure. And and also like I was very proud of him.
Mhm.
Like that was super sick because I know I didn't know he rapped.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, this is a cat out of Cleveland, and so that was sick. And then so that song ends. We call, and I was like, Aaron, let's fucking make a song tonight. And we were like, well, how's it? He's like, well, what are we gonna do? And I was like, well, let's just Google it. And we went. Did we download it from LimeWire?
Yeah.
Cool Edit Pro.
Okay.
It was like Cool Edit Pro, like 2.1 or
Sure,
something, like
yeah.
1.9. It was like at the inception of Cool Edit Pro, and we got it. And then I was like, well, we need a beat. And so we went back to LimeWire and we downloaded Fruity Loops FL Studio.
Wow. So you went the step to make your own.
Yeah,
Okay.
we made our own beat. He made it, and it was cool. It was just cool. I wrote my first verse, and I don't remember it. I wish to God I still had that notebook. I'm sure I do in some box, but I wrote like probably like a 28 or something. It wasn't a 16.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I was just writing. I was like, is this where you stop? And but I wrote a song with 3 verses and a hook, and I recorded it to a voicemail to my sister, to Jeff, to my cousin Steve, to my brother. I was like, dude, I am rapping now. I'm making songs, dude. And that's how it started. And then we just kept snowballing. And then I left and came back, stayed at my sister's house in Kaysville and set up a little joint. I was recording on a Gateway computer mic.
Oh, yeah.
And no foam, dude, in an unfinished basement. And it was the shit. It was so cool. I was making my own beats, and those were fine. I mean, it wasn't like, anything wild, but they were all mine, and I was so much more focused on just the craft and like perfecting it. And so I brought up that I didn't think about rapping before that, right? Okay, so what ended up happening is that switch for me turned on, and I couldn't stop rapping in my head to the point of like, I was getting pissed off about it because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep and shit. Like I would be like in line to order food, and I'd just be like, Big Mac, it's a stack, and I just want to attack. And
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
But it was all happening in my head. So
Right.
it felt like my brain was going to explode for real. And that happened for like 4 months. It was a long time.
Damn.
And yeah, that sucked. But then but I'm being very candid about that because it did suck.
Oh, sure.
It turned on a whole different piece, released like, I don't know. It was a weird phenomena, and I'm sure that there's a term for it. And yeah, so I recorded that first song, and then when I got out on my way home, I freestyled the whole way. Because I was telling everyone that I was rapping, I was like, damn, dude, I'm going to be able to freestyle.
Yeah.
Because growing up in high school at Judge, I would beatbox at our parties, and everyone else rapped, and I wanted to rap.
Got it.
And I never rapped. I never rapped. I didn't even, I think maybe once, dude. And it wasn't, stop, eh? Like we're good. Just do the beat, bro. Just do that part, because that's what you do. Do the part you do good, because that was fucking.
Give me some more hi-hats, bud.
Yeah. And stop doing the Roselle thing. You don't do the Roselle thing, so don't try it.
I don't want to hear If Your Girl Only Knew anymore.
So anyway, I freestyled the whole way home. And it was like a 23-hour drive. I stopped in Cortez, Colorado for like 30 minutes. And anyway, it was a big deal to me and this is a conversation that I had just recently with the UA, the duo, about like how freestyling was still a badge of honor, and like what I felt like was like a necessary asset to your rap
toolbox.
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say arsenal, but yeah, toolbox. Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
I agree with you.
Yeah, so that was nerve-wracking to go to the first party after telling everyone that I rapped, because I sent it to my friend Carlos too, so he knew that I had some songs, and I knew that he was gonna be like, all right, let's go ahead and freestyle, and I was gonna be like, fuck, I'm the only one here that's actually made a song. And so, but it went well. It went well. Yeah, and
We're gonna fast forward a little bit, right? Because we really could talk forever.
Yeah.
I want to talk about starting Mr. Benny.
Yeah.
Because as far as Utah hip hop goes, it's something that you, not something, but a label, crew, what have you, that you have to talk about. You guys put on so many shows. We did a lot of stuff with you. But what made you want to start, number one, what made you want to start Mr. Benny? And number two, what is Mr. Benny?
Yeah. I wanted to start it after talking to, God, his name was Benet. He went by Benet. And I was when I was working at the post office.
Okay.
And he was of African descent, and I was like, well, what does your name mean? We talked all the time, but there was a lunch that I was like, well, what does your name mean? And he was like, it means like president, like king or whatever. And I was like, oh, bro, what the fuck? And I had a burgeoning, a little group starting.
Okay.
And that was with Travis Presley and Rudy Van Dudecum. and I'm just dropping last names, bro. What the fuck? Um, dude.
That's fine. You know, there's probably hundreds of Rudy
There are.
Venditicles.
Yeah, there's hundreds.
Thousands out there.
Anyway, so we, and I was looking for something to solidify what we were doing because I had a grandiose vision of expanding outside of our group because I was already getting itchy to do my own music. I was doing my own music, and then Travis was like, "Hey, man, I want to rap with you too." And honestly, after hearing the first song, I was like, "Dog, this is not gonna work." Like even though we still rapped together, and I was like consistently resistant to it. I was like, "Damn, dude, like I'm pretty good for this level, you know, for like level 10 out of 1,000. I'm like reaching 11 pretty quick, and you're like at 1 right now."
Wow. Okay. No shots there.
Yeah.
But you still ended up doing music.
Yeah, we still did
Rudy and
Travis
throughout.
Yeah.
I mean, even past that.
Our first name, with Rudy. I mean, we still make
Rebel
music.
Concept.
Yeah, Rebel Concept. Shout out Rebel
Another
Concept.
Magna
For
alum.
real. Shout
I
out
used to
Rebel
whoop
Concept.
his ass in basketball, but that's neither here nor there.
Did you really all the time?
Ask him. Yeah.
Yeah, ask him.
Tell
It doesn't
him.
matter. Whatever. Anyway, move on. What was your story? We had a group. It was called the Supreme Dream Team.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. We called ourselves the Supreme Dream Team.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, SDT.
Wowzers.
For real. And so anyway, so he told me about that, about Benny or Benet, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, that's what we're gonna name it. And so Mr. Benny turned into like Mr. President Records, and then it became an acronym for Mr. Be an Entrepreneur Yourself. And so that's how that started.
Back to that word that's so hard to spell.
Yeah. So that's where that was the goal and the vision, is like to incorporate folks that wanted to make music, not just with us, but like, I want to help you with your own stuff. So I built a studio, multiple studios, and was just a magnet for folks that wanted to create. And it was like all the time, just creating all the time. Such a fun time. Yeah. Such a cool time. That's how it started.
We were a part of that creation, and you helped us, myself and Steady Rock, out with our album.
Yeah.
I mean, immensely. You're doing Mr. Benny, and I make fun of you for this. I joke about this. Your name changes, right?
Yeah.
So when you first start, you were Nate C, right?
Yeah, dude.
Nate C, and then you go to Synchronize, which is like more of an official like MC name, right? So that makes sense. What was the name change reasoning from Synchronize to Gabino Grhymes?
I wanted to use my regular name. I just wanted to use my regular name, man. So my real name is Gabino Chacon III. I don't have a middle name. Nate comes from my mom. She, again, I grew up Catholic, so when I was baptized, she baptized me in the name of Saint Nathaniel and just like ran with it and just told everyone that my middle name was Nathaniel, and me included, to the degree that I had a fucking identity crisis when I was going into the Air Force, because I wrote down that my name was Gabino Nathaniel Chacon III, and they're like, "Sir, it's not Gabino Nathaniel Chacon III. You have no middle name." I was like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "Look at your social security card." And dude, since I can remember when I started looking at my social security card, I was like, they got it wrong. And
Social Security Administration, don't know their head from their ass.
I was like, I don't get it. Anyway. So I wanted to incorporate my name. Notwithstanding how I thought that Synchronize was still fine. Like it was definitely. I mean, I still to this day, folks call me Synchro.
Yeah,
because that's where I really like created a lot of my hip hop roots and friendships was as Synchronize, and that's where a lot of time spent in the scene was as. And so I just was like, what is, like, Gabino what? And I was like, well, what about, like, G Rhymes? And I was like, well, because I wasn't going to end up using Gabino. I was like, well, G something and G rhymes. That sounds fun. I was like, oh wait, what if you put G in front of rhymes?
Yeah.
Gabino Grhymes, and it means Gabino G rhymes.
Yeah.
So it was Gabino Grhymes to me, and I started pumping that, and that's when I was. It actually happened like almost mid mixtape that I was making my first mixtape, Never Stop, and I was like, man, this is gonna be the breakout for Gabino Grhymes.
Yeah.
You know? And that's how that happened. The last track is like synchronized welcome Gabino Grhymes to the scene. That's how that happened.
Okay.
But it wasn't without some flack. Like I remember Pat Maine being like, you don't need to change your name, bro. Like, and I was like, I know I don't need to, but it just feels like I'm shedding skin type of shit, you know?
Well, I mean, from a artistic perspective and quality, I think that when you changed your name, the music, the quality of music you were putting out got better. I don't know if has anything to do with other than maybe getting older and refining what you've done, but that's one thing I noticed when you became Gabino Grhymes. Not to shit on Synchronize by any means, but it just know just the natural evolution, I guess, of continuing to do this and continuing to practice, putting out work.
I mean,
features, all of that.
Yeah, there was a different feeling that I had when I had my name stamped on shit.
Right.
To be honest about that, that's interesting that you say that from a third party perspective of being like, it sounded like your music just changed for the better.
Yeah.
Because it felt like it was. So it felt like I could just be myself and not just like stuck in this ego of Synchronize. You know?
Yeah. It's freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we're going to fast forward a little bit. I mean, we could spend forever on Mr. Benny, on Synchronized Times. I want to get to the point where you decide, well, I guess two things. Battle rapping is a big part of who you are as an MC and as a person. So how did you get into that? And then from there, what made you want to start Mic Masters?
So what made me get into battle rapping and how did that transition into Mic Masters? I got into battle rapping through Grind Time Now and watching their videos, but more importantly, I saw that they were going to be out in LA or something like that, and they were doing I came across like a post through MySpace, and it was from Mad Ills, and I wanted so bad to be on Grind Time, so bad. For visibility purposes, like marketing, you know, just like, oh man, like I can go up there and spit. And I still felt, I felt like I was pretty good, you know, like I was freestyle battling all the time. I was freestyling with Dog 'Em Out, and that was fun. Winning a lot, and it was fun to do. Like I just was different than a lot of other people. Still am. And so that post came, and I like submitted something for them, and I just didn't. God, did I hear back? I swear I probably can go through my Air Chacon Yahoo email, maybe find something. But it was I didn't get on.
Okay.
And then through somehow how did I meet Absurd? He was running Assault and Battling, and that was out of Southern California at the time. And that league, he was also that's what happened. Okay, so Mad Ills, this is what happened. Mad Ills told me to hit up Absurd.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was like, talk to Absurd to get on like the Proving Grounds type of thing. And Assault and Battling was going to be that. And so Ab was like, cool, well, I'll come out to Salt Lake and, we can have an event together or whatever. I was like, dope. So we had our first event together, and then he was gone, and it was good. It was fun. It was super, it was different. I was like tripping out that like we were able to have a cappella battles because all I knew at that point was freestyle battles. which were still cool, you know, but I was like, but this is like where the trend is going, you know, like, if there's a little bit more to it, as far as like that creative control that you have rather than being in the box of a beat, and which is still fine. Anyway, so I know I could go on a fucking tangent on that too, but so we do that event, and then they go, and then I was like, damn, I want to do that again, you know. And there wasn't really any intentions on bringing it back out, so I was like, fuck it, man, we're gonna make our own fucking league. And I made my own. Dude, you know me well enough. Like if I got my head wrapped around something, yeah. And so I was like, let's do it. And my roommate at the time was my roommate David. We were coming up with names, and we came up with Mike Masters Alliance. And I was like, dude, it's fucking perfect.
Which is a great name, and I'm surprised it wasn't taken.
Yeah. Just like UtahRapper.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Masters Alliance. And then for short, Mike Masters. And he made a logo, which is still the same logo to this day. It's a perfect fucking stamp. And I threw our first event from there. And it was like, we threw 2 assault and battling events out here. 2. And then after the second one, I was like, let's just do our own thing.
Yeah.
Because I set up the event.
Yeah.
I know what needs to happen, you know? I mean, to the degree, Pat Main, I forgot about this. We were talking to Pat on my podcast, and I forgot that I asked him to edit a video from when we were battling at 5 Monkeys. Dude, it was all hands on deck. Everyone was helping out. It was sick. So that's how that happened in 2011 going into 2012.
Okay. Mike Masters lasts how long after
2014. December 13th, 2014 was our last event. Why'd
you shut it down?
I mean, that's a pretty loaded question. So why did I shut down Mike Masters? I didn't shut down Mike Masters. What happened is I grew resentment. Actually, let me make sure I say this correctly. There was a lot going on first off with myself. Like I had a lot of different personal battles that I was going through, and some personal situations that I thought that were going to be resolved within maybe 2 months, 3 months, or whatever.
Okay.
So I'll definitely die on that hill for sure about that. And then was running into the issue for like video editing, and for as good as I am with being personable and all that, sometimes I have a hard time asking for help. And it's not hard because so many people want to help, you know?
Right.
So like the video editing piece, I was like, damn, like we're basically done, because we were at a point where the videos were coming out, were getting pretty good quality. And I was like, man, I just don't want to take a step back. Hindsight's 2020. Just put out whatever, bro. Just fucking. I mean, not whatever, but
yeah, it could have been. You could have held. It could have held up.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there was a lot going on in the scene at that time. Utah just started up, and it just felt very saturated.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I didn't. Admittedly, I didn't recognize the importance of what Mike Masters had built, which was a oversight on my part, and is not the case at all now. I understand fully what it means. And so, but at the time so those leading factors kind of went into it. When I say I didn't really shut it down, is because I've had people in my ear since that event about when's the next Mike Masters event.
Yeah.
When's the next Mike Masters event? When's the next Mike Masters event? And I swear I was always like, I'm thinking about it. And then it turned into, I don't know.
Yeah.
It honestly, it turned into that response. Like, I don't even know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna. I'm just here to help. You know, I'm just here to support. And then I got onto KRCL, so I was able to find my niche there.
Jesus, I forgot to add that to the intro.
To stay into the fabric, as it were,
right.
of the local hip hop scene. That kept me afloat. Peace to Keith on that for the Friday Night Fallout show. But then, so yeah, that's like it in a truncated answer. That's how it kind of dissolved.
Okay.
But I never wanted it to dissolve because I knew what I know. I said that I didn't recognize like how important it was. There was a piece though for sure because I brought out, we were bringing out Cadillac Ron, Dirtbag Dan, Rest in Peace Caddy, Caustic, Aspect One. I mean, Disaster before he came out here recently, just our last event, he was supposed to come host the championship battle.
Wow.
So it's like, I mean, we fucking sponsored. I put up the money, a significant amount of it, to sponsor, have our logo on all the videos for the Vendetta event, which is the one that Disaster versus Cannabis is on. And so like that video's got like millions of views and my logo's right there.
Jesus.
Right? Yeah. So I was like in battle rap, and I'm very, very embedded in the culture. So
we're going to come back to Mike Masters and bringing it back, but I want to touch on, this album.
Okay.
And the process in making this because as everyone knows, I've talked about this. I had you on before, but Harvey Dent, what was the month in 2020 when that came out?
December.
It was December? Okay.
Yeah.
December 2020 comes out. And I've already told you how I feel about the album and how much I really do enjoy it and still do. But I want to know, because this is essentially your first album, right? Walk me through making that and I guess like how it came out so fucking good.
Yeah.
Did you know when you were making it, did you know it was going to be that way? I know that's a weird question.
It is a weird question. Not in a bad way though.
Because you talk to a lot of people that make music, and I feel like people make music just to make music, and they'll put out an album, be like, "Here's the album." I feel like you put a lot of work into this, and again, I talk about DKM. I talked about it on your podcast, which might actually coincide when this one comes out. I'll have to figure that out.
Sure,
but and how much I love that song, how much I love a number of songs on there. Juan Diego, for fuck's sakes, was a theme on this podcast for a whole year almost, for Roses, the Roses segment. So again, I say all that to ask, walk me through the process, and did you know what you were making when you were making it? How good it was going to be?
Let's walk through the process together. I wanted to push myself to see if I could really make an album because after my mixtape, which I think is a great mixtape for Never Stop Volume 1, I posted it on it's on all the streaming platforms. So like just if you look up Gabino Grhymes, it's 10 tracks, no hooks. I can hear myself saying it on the fucking thing. Mad Lib beats.
Yeah.
And it was some of my best writing, and I took so much time on that. Like me and Battleship, took so much time on that. I was like, can I do something like that again? But better. And it started, I believe, like February of that year. I went out to go record a video for Marciano Rocky, and which unintentionally spurred this whole thing. Actually, hold on. Maytag 2.0, which is was originally produced by Big Low out of Pensacola. That's a whole nother story. Dude, I got stories for days, man. I was getting into the groove of making music again. I was getting into the groove pretty well, making music again. Peace to Mike Skills. He was Fuego Skills. He was a big part of that too. When I got back from Laramie, Wyoming, to help with that. Peace to Carlos Rossi MC. He was recording in Laramie, and I didn't even realize that I could record in Laramie, Wyoming. And so that was wild. And So like I was having this momentum all the way back from 2016. Okay. And then 2019, I made the decision after making Maytag 2.0. I was like, oh shit, like I'm going to make this a single and I'm going to push the single as Maytag 2.0. And then that's going to give me an earshot of what, if anyone's listening, you know? And it went over kind of okay. And so I was like, all right, let's see about pushing my pen even further. And so the process of making this, which was in this building at Maddie's BayTL Studios just down the stairs. Yeah, we recorded in his studio majority of this album. And as it was coming together, I felt very, very good about it. DKM blew me away. Like the fact that he was able to capture the hook so hard. But I was blown away with writing it. Like I was able to pour out so much and be able to have it be what it was and what it is. I mean, I cried when we did when the video was done, and Jared JC shot it on Instagram. 8JC shot it. He did it. He a bang up job, or knocked it out. Bang up job is a bad thing. He knocked it out of the park. He did fucking incredible, and that song was like dedicated to my mom, and I recorded it at her grave, a lot of it, and some other scenes, but. After making that song, in addition to Maytag 2.0 and Marciano Rocky, I was like, okay, I feel like there's some pretty good momentum. I remember when I was making Poetic Waltz and writing it downstairs in my the old house I was at in Midvale. And I was like, damn, like after every bar, like I was like, that's sick, that's sick, that's sick. And I was like, it was the first time that like I was writing. The whole experience was the first time that I was like vibing and writing. Like for real, like kind of dancing and shit and writing. I was like, damn, this feels so good. Like it came so easy.
Yeah.
And not at the same time. There was a couple songs that I didn't know what I was going to do with. And, I wanted it to be like the best product that I could, and with 17 tracks, that's hard to do, man. It's hard to do with fucking 5. This EP that I just dropped is solid, bro. It's solid. It's a piece of work. Boom, 5 tracks, and a lot of the feedback, like 90% of the feedback, is like, even though it's only 5 tracks, it's solid. Like it has an opening and a closing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just like all 5 singles. So to come back to this, like I felt it. Yeah, when we were mixing it down and putting all the tracks together, we were like, bro, we just made an album. Yeah, like a good album that can be played for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was proud of it. That was a big thing for me. That was a really big thing for me. Like I told you this on the podcast that like when I told you that I was gonna be making an album, you were like, just make sure it's good.
Yeah.
You know? And I know that to some degree it was tongue in cheek, but I know what you meant. And that was a lot. That played in the back of my head a little bit, for sure. Like insecure wise, even just like, damn, dude, like, is this gonna resonate? Like, can I make music? Like, not even am I a good rapper, but like, can I make music and like be artistic and tell stories?
Yeah. Because there's a difference. There's a lot of good or great rappers, battle rappers, all kinds of MCs that can't put out a good quality album because it's different.
It's way different.
Yeah.
And the Darby Hent piece, like, it just felt right. Two-Face, like he was struggling with like wanting to save his city, and then at the same time, like the world's against me, and that just like I still feel that way sometimes, you know, like because I want to save the city through the industrious things that I do with Mike Masters or like my podcast or like feature folks and shit like that. Like it's just it's fun to bring the community around, but then at the same time, it's like I feel like it's just like me against the world all the time, you know?
Yeah. Run this up if you haven't. Darby Hent, Gabino Grhymes, every streaming platform there is. we're going to leave that there because, I mean, I've talked about this on the podcast before, how much I love it, but I did want to touch on that in your process and making it if you knew what you were making. You talked about the podcast that you have, Short Story Bingo, which at one point, well, I will be a guest on upcoming soon. But I was a guest on when you read short stories. So initially you had brought people on, you would read short stories or you would do it yourself, solo. And now it's kind of transitioned a bit to what you call our stories. Um, tell me, I know how I feel about podcasting, but tell me what type of outlet podcasting has been for you.
The biggest outlet that has been for me is to be able to strengthen my conversing muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for myself particularly, like I already love learning so much, and to be able to extrapolate new information from people, and just learn their stories is super fun. But the biggest part is like really like leveling up conversations,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to just understand how to talk to people, man. Like I've been in sales for so long and I've been pretty good at it. So like sometimes I feel like it's almost like a class. It feels like sometimes, like to be like, I mean, I'm a big critic on myself. Like rewatching the live stream, even for the last event, like I'm like, damn, you said fucking a lot. Like, which is something that I'm going to definitely, trim up.
Right.
And it doesn't sound like bad, but to me, like looking at it, I'm like,
you just notice things like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I hear you.
So yeah, I think that's like one of the biggest things for me, but also like, I just enjoy, it's another creative piece of who I am. Like, I have different facets just like anyone else, but I am comfortable with like expressing those facets. And in order to do that, like, you sometimes got to take a risk, man. And like, some people are really good at being able to like converse and hold down introspective conversations, and they don't ever like pursue the whatever passion it is, and I just do it. So it feeds a different part of my brain outside of like rapping,
right?
Because I like to have very introspective conversations, like being high on the top of a mountain conversations, and also just like, why is it that you do what you do?
Yeah,
and just sit back and let the other person talk.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I love doing this. I loved coming on yours because we talked about things that even as friends we hadn't really talked about very much, Because I'll be honest with people, a lot of time mine and Nate's Gabino Synchro's conversations are like comedy sketches for 15 to 20 minutes, and then real conversation for 3 minutes where we need to figure out, the actual reason we called each other. One day we might put it out as just a comedy sketch,
dude. It is right. You are, though.
Yeah.
But we did get to the point.
But. Yeah. But Short Story Bingo, so you can watch it on YouTube or listen to it, wherever you get podcasts. So make sure you do that. I'm going to have you shout out everything that you do at the end. So we'll get to that too. Bringing back Mike Masters. So what a huge event. So like you have the warm up, right? Which was great. It was fun to watch all the battles that had come out. You have the warm up 2, which I was lucky enough to be a judge for. And then just recently you had the warm up 3, which was like, do you think everything, and this is not discrediting anyone or that was on cards in the past. Any of the, from you said 2011, you started Mike Masters, to 2014, no disrespect to anybody, but was this the warm up 3, the biggest event that Mike Masters had put on?
Without a doubt.
It was amazing. Like I was hoping you were going to say that, because if you were going to say no, September 2012, I'd be like, fuck, I guess I got to go back and watch.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Great event. You even streamed it for people like
pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view for people like myself that couldn't be there. Best $10 I had spent. A lot of great local MCs, a lot of great local battlers. And then you have, the two main events that you had, which were just out of this world.
Crazy. Beans and Rice, shout out to their podcast,
yeah,
man.
the good folks over at the Beans and Rice pod hosted.
They crushed it, bro.
They did a great job. I loved the comedy that they threw in because that's them, right? They're shit talkers. They're funny guys. They're very smart, and they just maneuvered it so well. Like from throwing in little jokes to like, oh, okay, so here's the next battle. This is what so and so has done. This is what battle rap means.
Host sounded, dude. They both sounded incredible.
Host was the Ted Koppel.
Dude,
of fucking battle rap hosting.
It was sick. It was sick, and I'm
the Puerto Rican version of it. Yeah, but it was great. I loved it. I know it's just going to continue to grow. I know, and if you're not ready to talk about it, that's fine. There's going to be more events coming. What I want to know, though,
looked at a venue before I got here.
There you go. What I want to know, and what's most important to that I think people would want to know.
Sure.
After all of these years, bro. All of these years, what made you say, "Yep, it's time to bring this back"? When it was never like, "Oh, I'm done with this," but it ended up kind of being that way, right? What made you say, "Yep, it's time to bring it back"?
So when I realized it was time to bring it back, so October of last year was our first event back. I'll give credit to B. Franks, who was in my ear a lot. And also he threw a battle that I went to and which was cool. And I was like, damn, dude, like it went back to me fucking sitting watching the playoff game. And I was like, man, I know how these run. How am I going to get battlers out here, And so the whole thing started going, and I was like, that started it a little bit. And that was like in February, I believe, of last year, roughly.
Okay.
Not really. It was kind of bouncing around in my head. And June, Emerson Kennedy and his staff from production team from last Second C. Mm-hmm. They were doing an episode of Gray Area out here, and I was a extra on it. It was so incredible to see him. And first thing he says to me after saying hi and we exchanged a hug, he was like, "What do you think, or when are you bringing Mike Masters back?" And rather than saying, "Are you bringing Mike?" he said, "When are you bringing Mike Masters back?" And honestly, just like instantly, like being put in the hot seat, And I was like. And he's like, "I'll help you. I'll come out and I'll battle with you." And at this point, I obviously know where EK's at in the battle rap pantheon, right? And what in that universe, what his, the weight that his name holds. Anyway, so he said that, and I was like, "I'm gonna hit you up, and I'm gonna take a serious look at this." And so we finished the scene, and then I was driving home, and I was like, "Damn." I didn't even talk about it out loud. I was just like, damn, dude, like, I think I can do this. And then it turned into one post. I put like, hey, who's interested? Fucking flood of people that were interested. I had no idea who was who. Outside of Glocko and Jay Villain. Mm-hmm. I heard peace to B. Franks for sure because he got he pushed a lot of the battlers our way initially and got a lot of involvement. So big ups to B. Franks for sure, 100%. And I appreciate the fact that he's still been involved. He was an official judge at the warm-up 3, and he'll continue to be involved. And 2, excuse me, yep. He'll continue to be involved. He judged at the warm-up 1, the first one. Yeah, so he'll continue to be involved. Anyway, and then we... ran the warm-up 1, and it was it felt like it was so fucking crazy, man, because like Dumb Luck was hosting with me, and we both were just very excited for it to be happening. Like it was weird. It was not weird. There's a better term for it, but it felt nostalgic and it felt good, man. It felt like it was right, and my mind's right, and the motivation was there, and it started off a little creaky, with like the first battle, like hosting and shit, and then caught steam, and then I still battled on that first card too,
Yeah.
and that was just I wanted to so bad, and that was fun. And I just remember having like the biggest smile on my face after that. Like so many people were like, "Dude, this was sick," and I was like, "Was it?" You know, like
Yeah.
because you never know.
You're
You know?
unsure. Sure.
Yeah. And that's been the feedback after each one so far. And so now it feels like like medium sized business, like big,
Yeah.
like it's definitely stamping some shit, you know?
Do you feel pressure after how fucking ridiculously amazing the warm up 3 was to continue to deliver that type of uh, moment? I don't know what else to call it because that's what it felt like.
Sure. The easy answer is no. That's the easy
Okay.
answer.
All right.
That's the easy answer. And the biggest reason why that's the easy answer is because you can't recreate that.
Yeah.
And that's shooting star shit. That do I think that something like that might be created again in the future? 100%.
Okay.
Absolutely. Am I very confident in this next one? I'm pretty sure we have the name for it. I'm gonna say it now. I'm pretty sure I got the name for it. I got the approval from Jer. It's gonna be May 13th. Pretty sure we got the venue locked in. I just saw it before we guys got here, but I think we're gonna call it spring training. I think we're gonna call it spring training.
There you go.
You like that?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna call it spring training, and we'll have it just during this time. This will be so the beginning of the year, the beginning of the year will be the warm ups, and then we'll do spring training, and then we'll do the Mountain West Showdown in July, and that's all Utah against everyone.
Beautiful.
And then we'll do the playoffs starting in September, roughly.
Okay.
And so the playoffs are going to fill it out. So that's what it's kind of looking like.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're even there, like even thinking about
Incredible.
that, dude, it's so sick.
Yeah.
It's so sick.
Yeah.
And so I would like to just like on that question of like the pressure, a little bit, I suppose, to some degree, maybe that I'm just like denying, but I have no pressure, man.
Yeah.
I think that moment that event is making this next event happen because there's going to be more people that are coming here.
Right.
And so like there's going to be more people that are coming here. And now what that event did is establish the fact that battle rap's biggest stars can come here for real. And it's opened up the door wide open, you know? And and with other battle rappers that are mid to top tier telling other battle rappers that, yeah, go to Salt Lake. They're going to take care of you. That alone, bro, is, you know, that our business acumen going out in that fashion, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't expect that. Fucking Marv 1 versus Disaster, 1 week prep, bro.
Incredible.
What the fuck? That's a whole story.
Yeah, that was incredible. Watching it, and again, because they even brought up, I had 1 week to write this.
Yeah.
But it was damn near flawless. And the way Disaster delivered and actually showing love to Marv, which the goal of battle rap is to tear down the person across from you.
Yeah.
Even if you're friends. You know, I remember asking EK that. Like, how do you, because this is before I knew how tight he was with a lot of these guys. I was like, how do you go to this? And this guy's talking about, you know, shooting at your dad's funeral and shitting and fucking your mom and all, you know, all this crazy shit. How are you okay and not like trip out on him? Oh, well, it's the game. It's like basketball. We're friends outside of this. But for that time you're locked in, you're not friends. You know what I mean? But the way that Disaster showed love to Marv.
Man, dude, that was an iconic moment in hip hop.
It was beautiful.
Not just Salt Lake.
Yeah.
That's just something that
it's huge.
Yeah, it was big, dog. Like, it wasn't just for like Salt Lake.
No.
Yeah, it was big. But like there were people tuning in from all over.
Yeah.
Watching that on the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was all over Twitter.
Yeah.
It was
great.
cool.
And
it was cool.
And then after that, for Emerson and
Oh my God.
Source to deliver the way they did, and Emerson, you know, and
He left Earth in the third round.
he did.
Left Earth.
That's what it felt like. It felt like watching.
I didn't even know who it was.
Someone like like Mike Tyson in his prime, or like watching Jordan in the flu game. It just like didn't feel like I know EK, but I felt like I didn't know that was someone else. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was beautiful.
No, he did incredible, man. Emerson has been almost like the vice president figurehead for Mike Masters, and he doesn't have to do shit except for just like rep us, and he does it because he fucking wants to see the league succeed. It's fucking incredible, the fact that he has that much faith and trust in what we do, and he's like, man, this is just sick for Salt Lake, and you guys, I'm just so happy you're doing it again. I mean, he's said it multiple times, man. Yeah. He's the shit. He's beyond the shit.
Shout out to Emerson.
Yeah,
we've given him roses here plenty of times.
Yeah,
but he deserves it.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting close to wrapping up. There's two things I want to touch on before we do. I want you to talk about the EP for a moment, and then with the EP, is this leading to an album?
So let's talk about the EP, Yesterday's Poem, and it's available on all streaming platforms. And the single for it's called Back in My Bag, and I am very proud of it, man. I'm just very proud of it. I think that having any sort of runner-up to Darby Hand is difficult, and I don't think that this even like touched it. But I think that it's like at least a precursor for me, which is spring-loading me into what this album that I wanted to get done by the end of the year after my son's born, and then probably like a couple months, you know, that of being buckled down, you know, and then after that being able to insert him into my music, you know, and finishing the year out strong with a 12 to 15 track album. And that's the plan. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, but I wanted to get Yesterday's Poem out before he came, so that because I know that that's going to be like pretty locked down season. You know?
No doubt.
And that coincides even with like Mike Masters. Like I thank God, like I have Jer and a couple others that I can really lean on. Because, even though we have an event in May and July, I may not be at either.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. You know, but I'm on the back in the behind the scenes, making sure we got the venue space right, and all that. And I trust Jer and so I just got a lot going on.
Yeah. So let's talk about the biggest project dropping 8 weeks from now. How far are we?
8 weeks, 60 days.
Okay.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Mentally, where are you at with that?
I don't know. As steadfast as I feel like I can be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to think.
And by what I'm talking about, if you just accidentally fast forwarded to this point and you're like, what project is he? My guy has a son on the way.
Yeah.
So about 8 weeks away. I told you this when I came and did your. Everything is about to change, and you will not understand until the baby is born. And because my dad said the same shit, everything's about to change. I know, Dad. But then when it happens, and I don't know how to explain it to you, other than when it does happen, you'll feel it. But right now, where are you at? Excited, scared, nervous, all the above?
Where am I at with it? I'm excited. I'm also like looking forward to it. I'm like, I'm already proud of him. And he's not, I don't know anything that he's done yet. He hasn't done shit yet.
You know how parents are always like, especially when the baby's first born. My wife and I are very guilty of this, posting on social all the time, like our personal socials of like, oh, look, he smiled, but you are so proud.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, look at that big shit he just took. And here comes another one. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're proud of him and he's not even here. Go on.
Yeah, naturally nervous just because I've never, this is my first go at it. I'm so a little nervous. I think I felt a little bit of it today because my sister just had a baby today. March 27th is her
Mm.
birthday. Yeah. Um, and like just like the feeling of like she wasn't a mother yesterday and like today she's a mother,
Yeah.
and it just like is like that's just what it is, like yesterday night you went to sleep when the baby was inside of you, and then tonight you're gonna be going to sleep and you got to make sure that it's fed because it's no longer feeding.
She's not going to sleep, but yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Night will come.
Yeah. So like that transition of like not being a father to being a father, like what does that mean, And so I don't know. I really don't know. And I think that's what's exciting about it too, is like the that I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's also, of why I've been researching like a motherfucker because I like to be as researched and prepared as possible for most things. And every single thing I read, it's like circles. It doesn't even like they're trying to explain fucking 10 different things about how it's just like preparation of like, the car seat and shit. And just like the mental process is more directed towards making sure of safe environments and where they feel secure and safe. It just keeps going back to like safety, you know. And while I understand that, I think I'm more ready to dive into these next 6 to 8 weeks of just like how do I compartmentalize to be able to retain myself to some degree, because I just I've taken so much of initiative to bring myself to where I am today that I want to be able to show that to my son, to be able to do that. And so like that's a big part that I'm trying to really hone in on and be like, fuck dude, like your dad's a shit and so is your mom. Your mom's a shit too, and you're coming in, he's entering a family of a lot of love, which is excellent,
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm excited. I'm scared a little bit because it's gonna be mine.
Yeah.
So like taking care of it, making sure he is safe,
right,
and doesn't like anything,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna put it out into the universe, but y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, just like anything.
Yeah.
Like in anything.
Yeah.
Like everything, you're just like guiding this little human along the course. And especially like the first couple of weeks, like they're just fucking.
The first couple of weeks of a child, it's nothing makes sense. You're going to be so tired. Well, I shouldn't say for sure you're going to be so tired. But if I was to put money on it, I'd say you and your girl will be very, very tired. And you're going to get to the point where you're just like, all right, he's eaten, he's pooped, he's burped. Why is he crying?
Yeah.
And you figure it out, right? Like, but the first couple weeks, the first 2 weeks are so wild, but you make it through somehow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm really looking forward to the bonding experience of like first like looking at him and like him opening his eyes and like looking at me and us like locking eyes.
Forget about it. Oh yeah, bro. You think you know the feeling of love, and then that happens, and you're just like, I didn't know anything. You talked about EK coming out of his body in that battle. Times that by 1,000,000, and that's what it feels like when that happens.
Wow.
Yeah, just I'm excited for you, man.
I can feel it. Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm very excited for you. I'm here to help. You know what I'm saying? If you have questions,
you've been a big help already.
Yeah, well,
with all the things that you and Shav has been able to hook up, man. With As far as baby items and things like that, dude. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course,
man.
I mean, if you have,
we are friends, y'all.
yeah,
for
we
real.
really are.
Yeah,
we really are. I mean, if there's ever a question,
yeah, I will
hit me. You know what I mean? But babies, I will say this: all babies are different. I have friends who have had babies. They're like, oh, slept great this whole time. My son was a really good sleeper when we got past like that 2-week period. And I think he probably would have been a good sleeper if me and my wife would have just like understood that we shouldn't be switching shifts every like 2 hours at night. That was fucking awful. We'll talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Because that's not the move.
Yeah.
It's not the good plan. But anyways, yeah, I'm always here to help, man. I'm excited for you. We're going to get close to wrapping this up. I think we've been going, let's see, hour and 40 minutes-ish. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I want to get into some kind of my rapid fire questions that I do on here.
All right.
So the first one, always super easy. 24 hours to live. What's your last meal?
Whoa, 24 hours to live. What's my last meal? And it would be, dude, very cheesy mac and cheese. With bacon on top.
Okay,
Yes.
like
and
that.
then that would probably fill me up. But ice cream sandwich for
Okay.
dessert.
Like a fat boy?
Yeah.
Okay.
For dessert. And my entree, a side of asparagus.
Oh, well, of course. You gotta be healthy.
Yeah. And I would say like like 4 king crab legs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm with that. Next.
And I don't drink anymore, but if it's my last meal, dude, if it's my last meal, dude, to wash all that shit down. Damn, that is funny as fuck.
I don't drink, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, but if
I'm dying,
no, that's saying, folks that know me, I definitely used to get it in. But if so for real, wash it down, it would be like, like Hennessy Black, on the rocks.
Okay.
Yeah, and like filled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a glass.
Yeah, a glass. Yeah, like a 12, 20, just a fucking.
Yeah.
What's in that? Just all
Hennessy
Black
and ice. Beautiful.
Nah, I was just playing.
Okay, next question.
Okay.
Your favorite movie?
It's a toss up for real. It is a toss up, but I would say, is this like on an island shit? Like if you
just your personal favorite film that Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Perfect.
But there's two. Snatch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I haven't watched that yet,
dude.
Yeah, my mother-in-law had a hard time. She watched it and she was like, maybe I don't get it. And I'm like, well,
game changer.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Honestly, made my top 5.
Yeah. Oh wow. All
yeah.
time. Okay.
All time.
Beautiful. All right. Next question. You can pick one MC.
Okay.
Not named Emerson Kennedy or Gabino Grhymes.
Okay.
To represent Utah in the rap Olympics.
From here?
Yes.
Okay. To represent Utah.
It has to be. Yes. Yes. To represent in the rap Olympics. It could, you have.
There's a lot.
I just need one though. One guy where you're like you're Apollo Creed and you're getting Rocky ready to just go in there and just be the champ that he is. I guess
what?
Maybe you'd be Pauly.
For real, probably because this cat can rap and do everything, but he's a bar spitter. I would be confident in Bobby B-Mac.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm with it. I've said it here before, but I love everything that whole team does. But Bobby is, yeah. Okay.
But he's a bar spitter.
He is, yeah.
Well, his music is excellent. I'm talking.
And he was in the early days of Mike Masters.
He
was like a teenager,
16.
Yeah, incredible,
and still like doing well.
Yeah, yeah.
Against fucking adults, man. Like, yeah.
Okay, I love that.
That's what. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next question. One person that you've gone up against in battles that you feel got the absolute best of you.
Emerson Kennedy.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's easy, huh?
Yeah, I'm 100%. Dad, dude, that got cut me in my knees, dude. That was rough.
All right. On an island for a year, you only get 3 albums to listen to. What are they?
Capital Punishment.
Shout out to Pun.
Big Pun. Right, Capital Punishment. Damn it. Let's say Stillmatic by Nas. And then let's say I Just Want to Sing by Music Soul Child.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Did you used to beatbox that?
Yeah. I used to sing to my, yeah.
Sunny? Sunny? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Sunny and then
Just Friends.
Just Friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great song.
Love. There's so many things. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that one.
This shit is hard.
Yeah, it is. He just put out a new album with Hit Boy, if you haven't listened.
I have not.
It's good.
Is it good?
Yeah, it is good.
I want to hear it.
Yeah. Okay. 2 more questions. Next one. This is a yes or no.
Okay.
When your son turns 18.
Okay. And I don't like how this is.
No, I'm playing. I'm playing. This is how I'm not going to. No, I only actually have one question. I was just setting you up to see what your reaction would be when I just say when your son turns 18.
And start
and steals headphones.
Dude.
From
what?
At that time, it'll be the local Amazon store.
Yeah.
Because there'll be nothing else around.
There'll be nothing.
No. Okay, actually, yes, 2 questions.
All right.
You can go back to your 18-year-old self and tell him something. You right now goes back to 18-year-old Nate C. just out there just being a deviant.
Yeah.
Getting ready to go into the Air Force. What are you telling that kid?
Be patient. Be patient. You're the shit. You are the shit. Be patient and slow down. Just slow down. You're the shit, and you're the shit. You're awesome. You have a lot going for you.
Yeah.
And I think that you would benefit a lot if you slowed down.
And stop stealing.
And stop hanging. Well, there was like some other people that I was hanging around with. Yeah, dude, stop stealing, dude. Hang back. Hang back a little bit.
I'm just messing
But
with
be
you.
patient.
Okay, last question, my friend. You get to put on your own festival, your own concert. I don't want to call it a festival, your own concert.
Okay.
4 acts, dead or alive. Can be any genre as well. Doesn't have to just be hip hop, or it can be all hip hop. Who are those acts? 4 of them.
Okay.
And I need to know opener, obviously who comes second, third, and then the closer.
Okay. So we'll open with Lauryn Hill.
Jesus. You're going to start late, by the way, just as an FYI to everyone who hasn't seen
You're going to start
El Boogie Live.
You're going to start at 11.
Yeah. Show doors open at 7.
We'll open the show with Lauryn Hill, and that'll just like next, and I would like for her to end with end her set with a rap Fugees track, because it'll go into Sean Price. And Sean Price is going to get gutter and set the tone there. And then from Sean Price, we're going to get flashy a little bit, and but still like rapping. And I would like to have 1989 Big Daddy Kane.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be incredible to see. And then the closer would be, honestly, Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, that's what I would like to see.
I'd buy a ticket.
Yeah.
I'd be there.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see.
That'd be great.
Can I add one more just really quick?
Sure.
Right before Lauryn Hill, actually, this would be the group that sets it off. Santana. Yeah. Yeah. To create a vibe.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, I got my mom here, and like, and it's all good. And then, because it'll set the vibe, and then boom, you're like,
maybe even have Santana be the band for Lauryn.
There you go. That's it. Okay,
yeah.
That's it. Okay, there you go. So Lauryn Hill, Sean Price, 1989, Big Daddy Kane, and then Kendrick Lamar to close it out. Yeah,
love that.
Sounds tight.
All right, I need you to give all 38 places where people can find you. If you can narrow that down into...
Is it crazy from a third-person perspective, like just to know how much shit I do?
Yeah, because we didn't even talk about the card stuff. I mean, that's kind of on the back burner at the moment.
Right now, but it's going to come back. Yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, just try to tell everyone all the shit you do and where to find it. As if they didn't listen to this whole interview, but where they can find all of those things.
All right. Okay, cool. My podcast is at Short Story Bingo on everything, on YouTube and all the streaming platforms. The cadence right now is 2 Fridays on, 1 Friday off. And right now I've just been releasing our stories, but I do want to get back to having vacuum sessions of reading stories every now and again too. So those are just quicker episodes. Anyway, so we've got Short Story Bingo, my podcast, at Gabino Grhymes on Twitter. Instagram is where I'm most active, and also on Facebook as well. But Instagram is where I'm most active. That's for where like my music. I share very little personal on any of these really, but and then Mike Masters Alliance at Mike Masters 801. On Instagram, where we post repurposed content from previous battles, announce what's coming up next, and all updates are going through that channel. We do also on Facebook as well. I mean, I forgot that there was like over 1,000 likes on that page too. So there's that. And then of course on YouTube, please, if you're into battles or if you don't know what that is, and you would like to check it out, we are Utah's original rap battle league since 2012. YouTube.com/Mike Masters 801 to go through our whole catalog. And then UtahRapper.com, which is my website for it's not merch. It's like what my brand that I make my own apparel. That includes like this hat, this hoodie.
You sell these on there, or is this just
this shirt? This shirt. But this is all just Mike Master stuff. I have like Gabino Grhymes signature stuff too on there. So UtahRapper.com, if you use code Wonder,
it's still there.
Yeah,
for the OGs of this podcast.
Yeah, it's still active too. Yeah, still active. What's it? 15%.
15% off your first purchase. That's
UtahRapper.com. So that's. I think I covered it all. And on Spotify, Gabino Grhymes, iTunes, Gabino Grhymes. My Bandcamp, though, is where you could really support me directly, and that's where you could purchase. I still have a few of these left. I literally think I have one left, actually.
Ooh.
The copy of the album, and then I have copies of yesterday's poem on there too. But that to my Bandcamp is what I'm referring to. Direct support. You can actually buy it and keep. You can have the digital purchase for yourself.
Perfect. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Doug.
This was fun. I mean, I knew a lot of this stuff, but also some of the stuff I didn't know, and I think it's important for everyone out there to know it. So make sure you support.
I was pretty
this
vulnerable
guy.
on it.
Yeah, I loved it. Make sure you support him in all 25 things he's doing and all the other shit he's going to be doing. But in all realness, I appreciate you as a friend. Appreciate what you do for the community. Appreciate what you do for hip hop here. So just keep doing it. I'm excited for you to be a dad.
Thank you.
Again, it's wild. Just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Take it all in as much as you can.
Yeah. Thank you a bunch, man. Seriously, thank you for having me. All the new folks that are on this page that are just barely subscribing, man, keep those numbers running up. He works really hard to make this happen with a family, and to be able to make sure this creative outlet is not in vain. Watch it watch it one time, and he has a secret email that he sends out to folks. I don't even know if I'm supposed to mention that.
I mean,
but
secret email club. You don't talk about Fight Club, but you know what I mean. Number one rule.
Yeah,
it's okay. But some people, if you know, I'll find a way to put it in there. And
oh,
if you
maybe I
wanna
wasn't
join,
supposed to talk about that, but
it's fine.
The point is
kidding.
that like he has he's just got a lot of cool shit going on. So outside of like his appreciation for me, I just appreciate all the viewers that are tapping in and wanting to hear what you got going on. So, dog, you're doing a great job.
Thank you, bro.